Sathya Sai Speaks, Volume 8, Chapter 28. Acquire Me as Charioteer. Part 1 of 2. The world is becoming more and more deeply immersed in irreverence and cruelty. Codes of decent behavior are being ignored and laughed at. The material is receiving greater attention than the moral and spiritual. Faith in the victory of truth, justice, and goodness is fast disappearing. The distinction between good and bad is seldom recognized. The child Rama, when he was brought into the hall where Dasharatha, Kaushalya, and Vashishta were together, touched the feet of Kaushalya first, of Dasharatha next, and of Vashishta last, thereby demonstrating that it was aware of the ancient discipline: revere the mother as God, revere the father as God, revere the preceptor as God. Gratitude for these three is absent only among animals, which soon ignore the parents once they are weaned. Keeping parents as well as the preceptor in grateful memory is the sign of the humankind. The world is a gigantic play designed and directed by the Lord to instill in man the sense of awe, reverence, and wonder, so that, drawn by its beauty, charm, and mystery, he is enabled to visualize the source of all this beauty, all this exhilaration, and all this enticing mystery. Meera asked her mother as a tiny girl, "Mother, we are playing a game. The other girls have all given out the names of the man each will wed. Who is to be my husband? Tell me. I must tell them his name." After she had worried her mother long enough, the mother blurted out, "This Giridhar, installed in this shrine, he is your husband. Now go." The Lord is all compassion, all grace. Meera dedicated herself to the Lord Giridhar, Krishna, from that moment, and saw everywhere at all times only his complexion and his compassion. The body is the bridegroom for the life principle, which is bride. This is the wedlock of every life. As the body enfolds, guards, and fosters life, the Lord maintains the vital principle enshrined in man, so that it may realize him. The Lord is all compassion, all grace. Bhishma, the grandfather of both the clans that were battling for supremacy in the field of Kurukshetra, had led the Kauravas for 8 days, but victory was not in sight. So the eldest of the Kauravas, Duryodhana, approached him and prayed for a more terrific onslaught on the enemy, to be guided and directed by him. Bhishma replied that it would be either death or victory for him the next day. Knowing this, Krishna persuaded the Pandava queen, Draupadi, who was imbued with the deepest devotion to him, to accompany him to the camp of Bhishma at dead of night. Prayer was the source of strength for Draupadi, the tormented queen. Her prayers could not but move the Lord. She entered the tent of Bhishma, with her face hidden behind a veil. Krishna had asked her to leave her sandals behind, lest their pitter-pat should disturb the silence and alert the guards. He wrapped them in a silken kerchief and carried the bundle under his arm. Draupadi moved into the tent and fell at the feet of Bhishma, who blessed her, spontaneously, as was his custom. "May you have many years of happy married life. Have faith in God, He will never give you up." Draupadi revealed herself as soon as she was blessed thus. She prayed that the Pandava brothers, her husbands, may be saved from his arrows. Bhishma guessed that Krishna must be the author of this stratagem. Bhishma then knew that he was doomed to die. "We are all but puppets in his hands," he said, and when he found Krishna at the entrance to the tent, he inquired what the bundle contained. Imagine his dismay when he was told that the Lord had condescended to carry under his arms the sandals worn by his devotee. Have faith in him. He will never give you up. He will guard and guide you until victory is won. Sincere devotion, unshaken faith, they can never fail to earn grace. Draupadi had the faith to surrender unreservedly. She led a dedicated life. The 5 Pandava brothers, who were her husbands, are the 5 vital airs, Panchapranas, which activate and vitalize the body. She is the energy that sustains the pranas by constant, vigilant care. To have that faith, you must dive deep into the inner mystery of the avatars, like Rama or Krishna, and not lose your way in the tangle of the outer events and emotional conflicts, the external adventures and activities. Do not take Rama as a brother, son, husband, entangled in the personal calamity of having his wife kidnapped and heroically rescuing her. You can be moved into adoration only by diving into the cool depths of the inner mystery. This process was specially discovered by the sages of India, and so India rose to the status of the guru of the whole world. Natural humility, instinctive reverence, continuous contemplation on God and His glory. These shall be your Diksha, path of dedication for acquiring Raksha, security. Grief and distress are God's ways of shaping us. The role of India has been to remind mankind of this Diksha and to help it to attain this Raksha. But this role is being neglected in recent times because the aim now is to acquire quick transitory pleasure and not lasting happiness. The Manusmriti, Code of Manu, which regulates daily life for the individual and sanctifies and salvages every moment, is today cast away as an obsolete guide. Its social and moral codes are condemned as outdated. Life for the modern man has to be an uninterrupted round of joy, so man flirts from one disappointment to another and is ever in search for a joy that material gains cannot yield. Joy is a deceptive trap. Grief is the real preceptor, teaching caution, circumspection, discrimination, detachment, awareness and vigilance. Death is not the merciless foe he is made out to be. He is the friend and companion, the teacher, the kindly kinsman, who takes you into his fold and clothes you with the halo of remembrance. The heart of man has to be toughened, not hardened. It has to be made soft, not slithery. This can be achieved only by the blows of loss, grief, and distress. It is God's way of shaping us in the divine mold. But man is blind to His mercy. He revolts at the first blow of the sculptor's hammer. He leaves off one divine form and transfers his loyalty to another form, which he believes to be more propitious. You bring a picture of Sai Baba and install it in your domestic altar and start offering flowers. If, a few days later, your cow yields less milk than usual, you decide that it is due to the evil worked by the new god who has come into the home, or by the anger of the old god who has been superseded, and you cast away the picture. Man can master disease and death. Do not offer flowers or worship any form of God for the sake of these low gains. Do not lose the great chance of association with the divine by identifying God with your trivial likes and dislikes, your tawdry aims and ambitions. Anityam asukam lokam imam prapya bhajasvamam. That is the command. Having come into this uneternal, unhappiness-filled world, adore me in order to save yourself. How can the body escape disease and death? How can the mind escape agitation and anxiety? Of course, you can master disease and death. Avoid agitation and anxiety by taking the prescribed remedies and observing the prescribed regimen. Sing the glory of God when you are afflicted by grief or distress, for it is at such times that you need Him the most. It is when fever is on that the tablets have to be taken at shorter intervals or in larger numbers. The Pandavas knew this secret of success. They called on the Lord whenever circumstances conspired against them. Ordinary mortals start lamenting, "O Lord, all my puja has been in vain. All the worship I offered so sincerely and with such heartfelt yearning has been a waste." Others too laugh cynically at the misfortunes of the devotees and draw them away in the dreary desert of unbelief. Do not give ear to these evil men. Be firmly rooted in faith. Feed the roots with repentance and prayers. Only those who are engaged in puja, worship, in order to impress others, will give them up when fortune takes an adverse turn. The rest will accept whatever comes with the supreme indifference of the saint. Fortune, good or bad, is for them only the observe and reverse of the coin of divine grace. The true sign of a Sai Bhakta is this steadiness. He cannot swerve from this chosen path by cynicism or the call of luxurious pomp. He puts spiritual teachings into practice and knows the immeasurable gain it gives. End of part 1 of 2. Prashanti Nilayam, August 18, 1968.